Brad Keselowski has spent years racing at the highest level of NASCAR, so when he says the entire garage overlooked something important, people usually pay attention, but this time, almost nobody did. While most fans were focused on race winners and playoff standings, NASCAR quietly introduced a technical rule change that received very little attention. To many people, it looked like a small adjustment. Keselowski saw something completely different. After NASCAR reporter Bob Pockrass explained the update on X, Keselowski responded with just one sentence. This didn't really get any media play, but was a big deal. So what exactly changed? Why did one of NASCAR's most experienced drivers believe it mattered so much? And why did Toyota continue dominating even after NASCAR stepped in? Stay with us until the end, because this overlooked rule change may explain one of the biggest mysteries of the 2026 NASCAR season. Before we get started, if you enjoy in-depth NASCAR stories that go beyond the headlines, subscribe to NASCAR Nation News and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. When Brad Keselowski made that comment, it immediately caught the attention of many people inside the NASCAR community. His opinion carries weight for a reason. Keselowski isn't just a full-time Cup Series driver. He's also the co-owner of RFK Racing, giving him two very different perspectives whenever NASCAR changes a technical rule. He understands how drivers feel inside the car, but he also understands how teams search for every possible performance advantage. That is exactly why his reaction stood out. The rule itself sounded simple. Beginning at North Wilkesboro Speedway, NASCAR required teams to install support struts on the front splitter of the next-gen car. On paper, it didn't seem like a major headline. In reality, many people inside the garage believed it could affect the competitive balance of the entire field. To understand why, you first have to understand what the front splitter actually does. Mounted underneath the nose of the car, the splitter helps control airflow as the car moves at high speed. That airflow creates front downforce, giving the driver more grip entering the corners and making the car more stable throughout a run. Even tiny aerodynamic changes can affect handling. If the splitter bends or flexes while air pushes against it, the airflow underneath the car changes as well. That can slightly increase or decrease downforce, influence how the car turns into a corner, and ultimately affect lap times. In NASCAR, those tiny differences can separate first place from 10th. During the July 28th episode of Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast, co-host Mamba Smith brought renewed attention to the subject by discussing NASCAR's quiet rule change. Bob Pockrass later explained that the new support struts were introduced specifically to reduce splitter flex and keep the component more stable at speed. That explanation immediately fueled discussion throughout the garage. Some people wondered whether Toyota had discovered a way to benefit from splitter flex better than everyone else. It's important to be clear here. Pockrass also emphasized that there was no definitive proof that splitter flex was responsible for Toyota's advantage. It remained one of several theories being discussed, and opinions inside the garage were divided. Even so, the timing naturally raised questions. Toyota wasn't just having a good season, they were dominating. Through the first 22 races of 2026, Toyota had already collected 13 victories. Chevrolet had 6, Ford had only 3. Toyota had actually won more races than Chevrolet and Ford combined. That kind of gap isn't what NASCAR hoped to see when the next-gen car was introduced. The entire purpose of the next-gen platform was to reduce the performance differences between manufacturers by using more standardized parts and creating closer competition. Instead, Toyota kept finding ways to stay ahead. That made every technical discussion far more significant. If one manufacturer consistently outperforms the others, rival teams naturally start asking what they've discovered. When NASCAR introduced the splitter support struts, many wondered if this would finally slow Toyota down. Instead, something unexpected happened. Toyota kept winning. At North Wilkesboro, the first race where the new splitter supports became mandatory, Toyota drivers finished in 4 of the top 6 positions. Then came Indianapolis. Once again, Toyota controlled the race, finishing 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Rather than ending the conversation, those results made the mystery even bigger. One reason this discussion has attracted so much attention is because modern NASCAR teams spend countless hours searching for gains that most fans would never even notice. Engineers analyze data from every lap, aerodynamic specialists study airflow down to the smallest detail, and teams constantly compare information from practice, qualifying, and race conditions. Sometimes a change that looks almost invisible to the average viewer can become one of the biggest talking points inside the garage. That's why Keselowski's reaction carried so much weight. He understood that even a small adjustment to a standardized part could influence how teams build their setups and approach an entire race weekend, even if the impact isn't immediately visible in the final results. If splitter flex had been Toyota's biggest advantage, why didn't their performance decline after NASCAR reinforced the splitter? That leaves only a couple of realistic possibilities. One possibility is that the splitter was never the primary reason Toyota held such an advantage. Their speed could be coming from another area that rival manufacturers still haven't identified. The other possibility is that splitter flex had been one piece of Toyota's overall package, but even after losing that benefit, they remained strong enough to stay ahead. Either way, the outcome is the same. Ford and Chevrolet are still chasing Toyota. That brings the story back to Brad Keselowski. Despite Ford winning only 3 races all season, Keselowski has made it clear that he isn't interested in pointing fingers. Instead of criticizing Ford, he has publicly backed the manufacturer and accepted responsibility for improving RFK Racing's own performance. Rather than blaming the equipment, his message has been that the team itself needs to get better. That attitude also became important as rumors started circulating about Dodge potentially returning to NASCAR in 2028. Some fans wondered whether RFK Racing might eventually switch manufacturers. Keselowski quickly shut those rumors down. He confirmed that RFK Racing has a multi-year agreement with Ford and intends to continue building toward future success together. That level of commitment probably means even more during a difficult season than it would during a championship run. Standing behind a manufacturer is easy when you're winning every weekend. It's much harder when your biggest rival has collected 13 victories while your own manufacturer has managed only 3. With only 4 races remaining before the playoffs, the pressure continues to grow. Ford and Chevrolet don't have unlimited time to solve this puzzle. NASCAR has already made one technical adjustment that many believed could affect Toyota's advantage, yet Toyota never slowed down. That means the biggest question in the garage still hasn't been answered. What exactly makes Toyota so fast? Brad Keselowski may have been one of the first people to recognize how important NASCAR's quiet splitter rule change really was. His comment wasn't about creating controversy. It was about recognizing that even the smallest technical decisions can have enormous competitive consequences. Whether the splitter was truly part of Toyota's advantage or simply another theory that didn't hold up, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The championship battle may ultimately be decided by whichever manufacturer uncovers the real source of Toyota's speed before it's too late. What do you think? Was NASCAR's splitter rule change actually aimed at slowing Toyota down, or is Toyota's advantage coming from somewhere else entirely? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.